Hello, my name is Sofia Wren, and I'm the creator of the Sacred Writing Challenge. Today we will be doing an online sacred writing event. I'll tell you a little bit more about why. We're going to do some sharing of some new techniques. If you'd like, you can write with me. I feel like we should do a little bit of writing today, but I also want to do some specific things to help us to let go of some really common writing blocks that might be coming up for you, whether you're starting those Sacred Writing Challenge fresh and new, or you've been taking it with me, or hey, if you're just dropping by, this might help you if you have an interest in writing. So first off, my name is Sophia, and I'm really humbled to be putting on the Sacred Writing Challenge over the last week. I want to say hi to Kate, who's here live. Hey, and anyone watching the replay, thanks for watching. And the Sacred Writing Challenge came to me last year in a meditation, and I felt like I should put it out there. And every day there were questions for us to answer, and it's really about connecting to something bigger and letting it flow through us. It's a really great time to review and reflect on what we're thinking about, what we're dreaming about, and we tend to end up writing things down on paper that can help us to guide our next steps forward, that can help us to realize new things about ourselves and our life, and it feels really, really good. So it's been really fun for me this week to have all these people sharing in our private Facebook group about their writing or to hear about it in other avenues. It's really nice for me to have a community like this, and I hope that it's a safe space for everyone to share. I do know that sometimes with these sorts of things, people can be really hard on themselves. So it's a balance for me in encouraging everyone and kind of being that person to remind you to write, and also being a little bit afraid that I might trigger anyone to feel bad that they haven't written enough or to be hard on themselves, especially if you haven't been able to find the time to write. Or maybe you're just getting started and you feel like, well, now I have to catch up and I don't want to, and that can be really discouraging to even get started as well. So kind of at the beginning of this event, last week when we had the first day event, I did a little tapping at the end. And excuse me if you hear anything, my boyfriend gets really frustrated at technology, and it's Mercury retrograde, and he's like probably yelling at his phone right downstairs and doesn't realize I can hear him. But you might hear that. You might hear the wind blowing. Technology has been a little funky for me this week too. I did an interview with Ainsley. He's an astrologist on Mercury retrograde. If you're not familiar or you want to learn more, yeah, it's happening. But anywho, it's a good time to reflect and write, so that's good. But anyway, so it can also be a really good time for healing. So I want to do some healing stuff, but if anyone here live wants to leave a comment about has there been any blocks or self-judgments coming up around writing, around not writing enough, or maybe missing a day, or not posting about a day, or maybe you just have some other thing you want to write and you haven't yet. Any kind of not enoughness, like, can you tell people you're a writer and that you're writing, or do you feel like that's not really accurate or true? Do you feel like that's a lie, or you might be caught out as a fraud for saying you're a writer? I shared before that I had someone in my life that I really cared about say, well, unless you're writing 8 hours a day, you're not a real writer. I actually come up with it a lot because I've always wanted to write books, and the many manuscripts that I've written on, I haven't yet published a standalone book. I've published chapter and a published book. The thing is, these things take a lot of time though. So I'm not really hard on myself, but there's a tiny segment of myself that is. There's a tiny segment of myself that's like, how dare you teach writing when you're not published yet? Like, I have been very diligently working on it. I have an editor. It's, I'm taking my time over years to make sure it's a really high quality book. So I'm not going to wait forever to call myself a writer, but I think this is a piece of all of us is what I'm trying to share. So yeah, we have somebody shared yes to all of these things that I've said, that it's come up. And it's a really, really powerful force that can keep us from creating. It's a really powerful force that can keep us from sharing or even really approaching what we really want to be working on. And it's not a very good feeling. And I feel it in my body. And what's important to me to share about writer's block or judgment or negative emotions around our creative process, which this can apply to other creations, right? But today we're going to talk about writing. It's held in the body, and what happens is it's triggering a nervous system response. And our nervous system is really hooked into our thinking. And some parts of our brain are hooked into like survival mechanisms. And the thing is that our highest wisdom doesn't come into play in those survival mechanisms. Okay, so that's like why we're still on the planet, but we have some systems, some things about us as human beings that are remnants of a time when we had a lot of scary predators and things like that we don't necessarily have to deal with in the modern world, and they don't necessarily help us when we're writing because that's kind of more of a higher function. So it's interesting that stuff going on in our body can really affect our writing. And it's not something many people talk about, but from my particular background, having studied body work, I want to gift that understanding to you. And so we can do some work within our body to eliminate some of that. So I have somebody say that the not enough definitely resonates. Yeah, I think that's really huge. We're definitely going to go into clearing some of that. She says she struggles sharing new lyrics and music because it feels not good enough. And I can totally relate to that, having written songs and things like that. And the truth is that all of us might come across this too, because we're not meant to be a messenger for every person on the planet necessarily. There's so many different people and so many viewpoints, and people are in different stages of life that sometimes we just need to reach one person. But what if in trying to reach that one person, we come into critics? We come into people who don't like what we have to say and don't think it's very good writing and or singing or whatever it is. And so that's hard because we can't let those people or even those ideas of those people, in our own mind, can't let that keep us from talking to that one person who could really appreciate it and say thank you so much for sharing. And when we do meet that person, everything changes. Okay, so if you haven't met that person yet, I believe that they're out there for you, and I'd love to help connect you to them. But first, we need to kind of work inside of ourselves and make sure that we're in the best place we can be on our own, so that way we can be confident and strong within ourselves and just doing our own writing and things privately. And then we'll be more confident when we do later go to share it with others, and we'll feel like we're enough. And I think that confidence it boosts everything, because we'll create more, we'll be more certain about the quality of what we're creating. And I think we draw people to us that will appreciate us more when we're more confident, because it's like law of attraction. It's like, oh, wow, you're really more confident. I kind of have boosted you up a little bit in credibility in my mind. It's like, wow, you're singing confidently, or like you're saying this confidently. You must know what you're talking about. So there's something just in having that kind of body, being comfortable, turning off those fears and stuff in the body that can have such an amazing benefit. So we're going to kind of transform all of that not enoughness feeling into some creative potential that we can use however we want. Okay, but it's not going to be working against us. And this might come back for you in the future. I'm not saying that you will never not feel enough again, because that is one of those things that a lot of us have just recurrent because of society, and it's a new project, or maybe we're getting this from being a human being. Maybe it's in our DNA. I don't know, but it's a very, very strong one. So just be patient with yourself if it comes up, but you can probably get this recording later on and do this again. So we're going to do a little bit of tapping to start, prime us to do some fun things. First, though, I want to show you this interesting belly dance stretch that I learned. I've been taking some online belly dancing classes, and one was all about hand motions. So this is a little bit weird, but another thing you can do, like say you're in a group of people, is remind yourself to move around. If you're feeling nervous and you're gonna share, or you're sitting at your chair and you're like, I'm trying to write and I'm not sure what to do, be aware of how you're sitting and standing. And are you locked into position? Are you in the same position that you tend to be during your workday? You know, because your muscle memory will remind you of all the stress of that situation. So just making some weird movements really can help fire different neural pathways, and that can create creativity right there. It can help release stress and feeling nervous just by moving a little bit differently. So I want you to go ahead and just do a little bit of a stretch. Stretch all 4 of your fingers back. Little writer stretch here. And like listen to your body and don't force it too much. Just a little bit of a stretch. Okay, I'm gonna stretch my thumb just a little bit. Stretch my thumb out. Okay, now I'm gonna make it as wide as possible. I know it looks silly. And now I'm kind of pushing forward with my palms, and that feels really good. Okay, now I'm bringing it behind my head and up. I learned this one from Una the other day. I was talking to her. It was really good. These are all our writing muscles, right? Okay. I like to kind of push my elbows back a little bit too. Feel it right under my little wings. I'm kind of pulling them to the side. Now I'm kind of pulling up. Kind of hunching. It just feels really good. Okay, stretch. That's good. And so if you notice your body, you might feel like, oh, that funky feeling that came up as you were talking is not really as present anymore. Because that's how powerful the body is and how we're feeling and thinking. Do something new with your body and you'll start feeling and thinking differently. It's really cool. So don't forget your body while you're writing and coming up with all your amazing thoughts and things to say. So important. Okay, so I want to show you my favoriteest. Shoot. Just had this notification pop up. There we go. It's gone. Okay, so I want to show you my favorite EFT or tapping point. These are acupressure points. Okay, so I talked a little bit about them in the first kickoff, which you can see at sofiawren.com/YouTube. It'll take you right to my YouTube channel. You can see all my videos. But something I will do, especially if I only have one free hand, say I'm like writing with one hand, if I come up into something really emotional, sometimes I just start pressing on my acupressure points because it helps me to turn off that fight or flight response, turn off that fear, and then I can kind of process my emotions more. And it becomes like a writing therapy session, like physical therapy, emotional therapy. Like it's just so powerful. We all have it right at our fingertips. And what I'm pressing is right by the collarbone. I hope you can see. So this is my collarbone. Right here is bone. It's very hard. And then there's a little peak to this collarbone where it meets the sternum. This is the sternum. This is the collarbone. And it creates like a T, okay, on either side. And there's a little bit of a dip. So it's kind of staying a little bit white as I touch it. But there's the bone here. And then right between these, like where it crosses, there's a little tiny dip. And when I press it, it's sort of, there's a little bit of a muscle there. So kind of anywhere in here, but you can take one hand and with your thumb and your forefinger, get both of these. Okay, and it's okay. It's just not totally exact. It's still going to activate the point with any kind of pressure because the vibration is going to hit that spot. Okay. So what I do is I just go like this. Okay. And let's say we're going to work on this particular belief about not being enough, not writing enough. Then what I'll do is I'll just really let myself feel that. Okay. So it's going to sound a little negative, but we're just going to tap right here as an example of something you can do. So I'm not working on my writing enough. Okay. It's not good enough. I could do better. I could do more. Everybody would make fun of me if they knew the truth about how not enough I am. I am not a good enough writer. It's not good enough to share yet. I've skipped days or skimped on days. I haven't worked on the really important projects that I have in mind. The stuff that really matters is not happening, and it's all my fault. I could do better. It is all my fault. And there's some shame there. If people knew, they would think I was fake, not a real writer. So I'm just saying this out loud. If you have a certain belief, you can go ahead and just say it. You can say something like I did. And what it does is it activates that pathway for you to just calm it down. So that's why we go into the negative. And the beautiful thing is that everything is connected with these pathways, and we can also bring calm to the things that we want in case there's any fear of success there. So now that I've kind of vented a little bit, all right, so I'm not enough, still not doing enough with my writing. That means I'm not enough as a writer. Maybe I'm not even a real writer at all. How can I call myself a writer? Maybe I should just give up on this whole sacred writing challenge. A lot is coming up for me right now. All right. So now that I've admitted all of that and vented all of that stuff, I'm going to transition to the positive now. So I'm open to letting all of this go. I'm open to letting it go wherever it came from because it's making it hard for me to achieve my goals. It's making me unproductive with my imagination. It's blocking my creativity. And it makes me feel too embarrassed to share as much as I would like. I really enjoy writing. It's fun. I wish it was just a fun thing to do and I could leave all of this behind, all of this emotional baggage, all of this physical baggage. I'm ready to let it go and change the way I think about my writing, change the way I think about myself as a writer. I'm willing and open to release all of this, send it back where it came from, or something even better. Maybe I can turn all this around and use it for fodder for my creative projects. Wouldn't that be awesome? Wouldn't it be awesome if I was so inspired because I've let all this go that I could write whenever I want to write and know that it's enough? And if I skip days, I am not even hard on myself about it because some things just take time and there's a lot going on in my life. I'm totally open to feeling enough just as I am, no matter what, and having writing be a wonderful bonus to feel good about myself. And I'm totally open to sharing with people that I write and releasing judgments about what that means, about what a real writer is. Because ultimately, who cares? I write when I write. I'm totally open to letting go of anything that isn't serving me right now in my creative process. All right, so let's go ahead and just rub our hands together. Okay, this is another thing you can do just to get into your body. Now put your hands on your heart. We're activating some spots all around our heart. People do this naturally. And I want you to take a really deep breath. Really deep breath. And I want you to think back to that feeling of not being enough as a writer. Maybe there's a time you can point to when you could have written more, or you felt like your writing wasn't good enough or something. And just try to like think of yourself like you would a small child, somebody else entirely, and just try to see the good, that you can send yourself some compassion and some love. Take another deep breath and just appreciate yourself for a second. All your earnest intentions. You know, maybe you have been putting some hard work in. Maybe there's a lot going on for you. Take a deep breath and just honor that you're really doing the best you can. And now think about all the potential you have for the future. And just really feel excited about that. That there is so many days ahead where you can do whatever you want to do. And it's all open to you. So go ahead and take one more deep breath and put your hand around your wrist. And think of a place in nature. And as you exhale, say the word peace. Peace. Okay, and so that hopefully has calmed you down. And what's really cool about that is it doesn't just calm you down in the moment, but it also is shedding a little bit of that onion peel that you don't really need. Okay, so I'd love to hear how you guys are feeling. If you think about maybe your progress or your writing, how does that feel to you? I feel good. I feel good. I was just thinking about, you know, what could I think about? I could think about my book that I shared that I'm working on, and I feel excited about it because my goal is to finish the editing with my my editor in the next 3 months, and I really am ready. I feel like it's time to let it go, and I have so many other projects I'll be working on next, so it's exciting. And it's kind of like I think about that. Am I a real writer thing? It's sort of like it's not even really like. It's not even really present for me. So, yeah. Okay, cool. We've got some feedback that Karen's feeling calmer and confident. Yay, great. That's fantastic. Well, I think we will do a little bit of writing today, just a little few minutes. So this should help us to let that come through easily. Marissa said, better peace of mind. Yay. How fun is this? Because shouldn't writing be fun? I mean, isn't that why we're doing it? Because we like it? So nice to let go of some of that crap. It probably wasn't even really from us in the first place, right? It's probably because someone said something or we saw people react to someone else and we just took that to heart. So we don't need that. We don't need it all. I'm a little shivery right now. It's cold. It's like, my windows is like white and all the snow is coming down. I wonder where everybody is right now. We have people in the Sacred Writing Challenge from all over. So yeah, we've had people from other countries and stuff like that. Definitely a lot of people who are not on the East Coast right now because not everyone has the snow. So I'm in Maryland, Baltimore, Maryland, in case you're wondering. So that was a really important thing I wanted to share. And if you like this, honestly, you can use a process like this for anything in your life. You know, maybe while you're writing, you get in touch with like an old memory or something coming up that you're like feeling like you're hard on yourself. And it's really helpful to let go of that. Or maybe you think about, you know, I wish I was this way. But I feel like I'm this way, and you need to forgive yourself for being a certain way. So I have a kind of like a little package, a little a PDF and a short video to help move you through that process on your own. So it's my forgiveness process. I've mentioned it many times because I'm love it. And I tell everyone about it because no one needs to be hard on ourselves any more than we are. We don't need to be hard on ourselves. It makes it a lot easier to do things when we feel good. So so I'll be sharing that in the wrapping up email tomorrow on day 9, and I'll put it below the replay so people can get that. Cool. So what I would love to hear is if anyone's been participating in the challenge and you want to share something about it, I'd love to hear. I was thinking of turning on a little timer and giving us a few minutes to kind of to write down some things that we've learned recently and some things we're grateful for. It's also the new moon today, so it's a great day to kind of think positive and think big and think about the future. And when I do that, sometimes I find it easier when I can kind of reflect a bit first and then get into it. Especially it being Mercury retrograde, still it's nice to use the past as a leaping point to kind of not start a whole new thing, but to look at what's been going on and then to move from there. So I'd like to spend the next 10 minutes or so taking a few short rating periods, and then if anyone would like to share, then we can share. So hopefully you're feeling confident that you can do this. But I would like to take 3 minutes and then just write down what have you learned recently and what are you grateful for? So I would love to just take 3 minutes together. We got some people live. If you're watching the replay, then go ahead and do it for 3 minutes. And then I'll let you know when there's been 3 minutes. And if anyone feels like sharing, we can, or we can move on to the next exercise, short writing exercise. So let's go ahead and just do 3 minutes. Okay, that's been 3 minutes. If anyone would like to share about whatever came up, it doesn't have to be related to sacred writing. But I wanted to share mine before we do our next little mini session. So I said that recently I learned it's okay to be authentic and vulnerable with how I feel. I never realized how I can cover my feelings. I didn't realize it's okay because my dad isn't good at acknowledging that I have any. I wanted to be so independent because that is what felt good to me. It felt safe. I wanted to feel fun. Maybe it's because I am a Capricorn, but I'm grateful that I have people in my life that I can share with, including my Sacred Writing Challenge people. I feel like one of the gang, even as I lead. I feel like it's okay to be real and imperfect, and there's a safety in that I have never had before. We're still working on all the kinks and stuff in the challenge, so it's an ever-evolving process, and it's not perfect, but it's still worthwhile to be putting into motion. I feel wise and open. I'm grateful for my partner support, my classmates, my friends, my colleagues, all the people joining. I'm grateful I've learned how to heal myself, to hear myself, care for myself. And I'm grateful I have so many tools. And I'm grateful for the beauty of the snow, which is still falling and will for many more hours. So that's where I am right now with everything that I've learned, and I'm grateful for right now. It's day 8 of the challenge, so I've been going through it every day. Yesterday was really tough for me, so it's still, we take every day by day, but that's what I've learned so far. I shared a video on day 3 or Monday after some technical difficulties and stuff. And I was just really honest about where I was and what was going on in my life. And I don't think I'd ever really made a video being like, yeah, I was crying a whole bunch last night and I feel better. But yeah, I've always been very sensitive, but I do kind of have like a cover that I can put on. So just every once in a while, I'm like, oh, I was feeling this. I had no idea. I guess that's why I'm drawn to writing, is because it really helps to like go under the surface and help me to understand what's really happening inside of me. So I'm glad that I can now share more of that. And it's always new for me every time I get new feelings. So, oh, so Anna said it's beautiful. Thank you for sharing. You're welcome. Very pleased that we're all here. Okay, guys, so I wanted to do another little mini writing thing. If anyone would like to share, I can still share it. If you have any like writing that you want to have me share as well, or questions or anything, we still have about like 20 minutes in the hour. And if I don't have any questions and stuff, then I'll just share some things that have been coming up. But everything is going to happen that's supposed to happen right now. So I'm just trusting that this is going to be what everyone would most serve everyone here. That's my intention. And to share with anyone thinking about the challenge and doing it that it's still possible to join us. We have another 2 weeks to go. So maybe that's a good thing to kind of like think about is, we have another couple weeks of Sacred Writing Challenge. We're getting into February. Mercury is going to be wrapping up its business, being retrograde soon. If you're curious about that, it does go direct on Monday, but there's an interesting like thing happening all of next week. So it might still feel pretty intense. And then we'll have a final couple weeks of it being in its shadow phase where it'll still sort of be retro, having some of those similar things with technology and old projects wrapping up more easily than starting new projects. But we're going to be writing it out to its conclusion. It's going to be decreasing in intensity after it goes direct on Monday. So looking forward to that. But we're going to be, entering a new space in the next moon cycle where it's going to be easy to create things. So that might be something that we want to like start thinking about, like what's going to be new for us in February and March, and where are we going this season. And whether you want to think big or you want to think small, I'd like to take a couple minutes to just think about, what do I want to create? What do I want to create? So that's the question, is what do I want to create? And we're going to take another 3 minutes. It's actually 3 minutes, 30 seconds to just answer that for ourselves. So what do I want to create? Okay. How is that for everybody? How did you like thinking about what you want to create? Was that manageable, a manageable list of things, being only like 3 minutes? Do you think you hit all the highlights there in that short amount of time? Sometimes it's surprising what we can do in like just a few minutes. And I wanted to mention that this playing around with the container of time is something that I find really helps to spur writing. And I like to do it in these kind of events so it's low pressure for everyone. I work with this wonderful woman named Sarah Michael that I love spreading the word about. And she talks about masculine time versus feminine time, where masculine has a structure or a goal. So the whole of Sacred Writing Challenge, 21 days, is kind of a masculine framework. if you put a timer on your writing, that's like a masculine framework, if you have a to-do list or something like that. But what if you are just enjoying the moment, like in bed writing, or you're on a chair writing? That's more feminine time, and you kind of lose track of everything. So you can think about that for your own use. Maybe when you go for a sacred writing challenge question, you just let it take as long as you need to take. Maybe you're fitting it into a very small pocket of your day where it feels more constricted and masculine to get it done. You might have a project that you want to try to just get done, so maybe setting a timer works for that. But it might be beneficial to have a balance of both. So I wanted to throw that your way to think, because I think another way we can feel enough is to kind of have a combination of the masculine and the feminine in our life, because I think everybody has like a combo, and the creative process has a combo. So yeah, we had some people who got some writing out there, and Marissa said it says fun, exciting to think about creating. And yeah, so another thing I wanted to share is that lately I've been getting a lot of ideas, like at times when I can't really write them down. And I wanted to share something that helps me is to trust that a lot of ideas swing back at me, especially when Mercury is retrograde, like as a reminder, like, hey, you didn't get this done, you didn't get this done, you didn't get this done. And so when I'm getting all these new ideas and I'm not able to put them into action right now, then sometimes I might be meditating or driving, and I'll just think, it's okay to just have a thought. Doesn't mean I have to be pressured to do anything with it right now. It's like, oh, that's a nice thought. And I've actually used that as a meditation mantra. It's like, oh, that's a nice thought. That's a nice thought. And just let them swim by. So that might be something that you're feeling right now with the action happening in the heavens. But this by taking the past first and then working on what you want to create, in the next couple of weeks, it might help you to find a good balance, to really focus on creating what is most important, and to not get overwhelmed by too many ideas and things like that. And one of the things that I wanted to create for me is I wanted to share as well is every full moon I actually do something for a select group of members that get some extra special individual attention for me. And it's the least expensive way to work with me. And I would love to have more people to serve that way. So I wanted to share, been meaning to share for a while, because some people have been sharing that they really related to what I said about my nightmarish night and all the worries and sadness coming up, things in my family coming up. That's been kind of bubbling up as I wrote and participated in the challenge. Some people shared that they were in a similar place, or there were some worries and emotions coming up for them. I actually have a service to help that, and it helped me. I popped on a recording I made for peace during that really hard night, and it helped turn everything around so I could talk to my partner, so I could unwind some of those heavy things and just let them go and get them out of my system. And it's a free peace recording if anyone would like to listen to it. I listen to it like every week since I made it. Actually made it around Thanksgiving, but it just was really, it really channeled something. It really brought something in from beyond myself to share with everybody if you're looking for peace. So that can be a really great step to sharing your voice. And it's part of a series. It was the first of a series. I've now done 2 more. One on sharing your gifts, and one on finding unity with the world and all that is, to help your goals go forward. And it's really kind of like a recorded Reiki session, sort of. I call it an alignment, because what I'm doing is I'm getting in this meditative space, the same one I used to create the Sacred Writing Challenge. It's called Accessing the Akashic Records, kind of like a way to tap into the information that's a part of everything, like a spiritual library. And this is what started coming through after I worked with it for a couple of years. And I started with tarot card reading for the month. And then this whole other energy wanted to come through to help us to get to the best space that month. And people can get an individual recording from me with the same tarot card reading and an alignment to bring them towards what they want to create for themselves. And that private section is about 15 minutes. And together with the about 45-minute recording for the month, you get a forecast of what's ahead and a way to get closer to your intuition and know what to do next towards a specific question or area of concern for you. Maybe it's a project, maybe it's romance, maybe it's business. Depends on what is up for you that month. You get a special recording for yourself, and you get the general one to listen to either over and over again. And so that's available for you. I wanted to let you know you can try the piece preview first. And if you want to sign up for the ongoing subscription, it's going to go until May for sure. And I'll see if I want to keep doing it. But it's $50 a month if you'd like to do that. And if that's a stretch for you and you just like to try a private session, private recording for yourself for 1 month, you could try it for $50. So just send me an email if you're interested. It is on the sidebar of my site. There's a little picture of a sunflower there. So I wanted to share that because I just recorded the Unity session today, and I'm feeling it. And I'm really excited about creating more of that in the future. So I'm also working on creating a worksheet for you guys, printable, to print all the sacred writing prompts. You can like glue it into your journal or keep it with all of that. And some people were a little confused about how to catch up and what were all the days. And then if, for instance, you're not online that day, you can still get the prompt and just do it at the time that serves you. So I'm going to be working on creating that as well really soon. So that's ahead, and that's just some of the, I'm also doing live classes and things. I had to cancel for the snow, but we're going to reschedule my local class here in Maryland for writers and creators. So yeah, does anyone else want to share what they're creating or any other words before we start wrapping up for the day? I just wanted to share that I'm really thankful that we're here because I'm snowed in right now. So I was kind of bummed I had to cancel my live class, but it's nice to be able to do something like this. So yeah, so you can go ahead and share anything you'd like. I'm just going to do one final check to see if I have any questions online. We have a lot of blessings from people who couldn't make it live, who are going to watch the replay. So that'll be really fun. Alrighty. Okay. Just go into my mail real quick. Alrighty, bye-bye. It's been such a pleasure seeing everyone on Facebook. I have to say, it really inspires me. You know, there were a couple of days where I hadn't written very early in the day, and so I wasn't able to, you know, say before the to post early that I had written. But seeing everybody else and what they got out of the day really made me want to write, and so I think it did help. And it did help me to just post in there like, hey, I haven't written today, but this is sort of how I would answer that question. And then I was thinking during the day, you know, I kept thinking like, when am I going to write? When am I going to write? And it really helped me to like get it done. And I think that writing is just, it's a practice, it's a habit, and it's so beneficial. I feel like every single time anyone has posted, it's like a positive experience that they wrote. And it's so beneficial in so many ways. And I shared on Friday in the daily email that asking yourself, have I written today, is one of the most powerful questions to become a prolific writer, to write. I have so many notebooks, like, and I'm looking at a stack right now. It's like this big. Like, it's because I ask myself every day, did I write yet? Have I written? And it's just intense. So Karen asked me, are you doing the challenge via Facebook? Hey Karen, so yeah, we have it on a number of different channels. So if you don't use Facebook, you can still participate. But the majority of people are participating in Facebook. We have a private Facebook group. So when you signed up to see this event live, you got an email with instructions. There's a link in there for the Facebook group. And there's also, there's instructions, like if you look in the Facebook group, in the description has all of the rules on how to play. So you can post what you're getting out of your writing in there. And what I'm recommending for everyone to do is to post if you have written today and if you'd like to share a particular insight you got. Some people aren't on Facebook, so they've just sent me an email to let me know they're playing. You can also post things, post about what you're writing on like Instagram or Twitter, as some people have been doing, and you just use the hashtag Sacred Writing Challenge. So that's something you can do if you don't use Facebook. I know not everybody does. And if someone's watching the replay and they're like, how do I play? There's going to be a link like immediately under this replay for you to sign up. But everyone live is already, you're good. You're getting all the info. And yeah, so it does help for me to know, have you written, if you leave a comment in the Facebook group, did you write today? And then a little bit about you. And I'm not going to do this every day, but the other day I did feel called just to ask for clarification on a few posts because there wasn't any talk about writing. So I just wanted to see, like, did you write today and all that? Not because I don't want people to post if they haven't written. You can absolutely post anytime. But I just wanted to, keep the focus on, encouraging yourself to write by asking yourself, did you write today? And there's no judgment at all. It's just like, oh, did you write today? And if you haven't, I'd love to be able to support you in whatever way I can to help you find a way to make it happen and to, love you up when, as a celebration and stuff. So, so that's all that is. And I won't ask every day. It was just one of the days to keep us focused as we start. And we still have 2 whole weeks left. So if you're playing with us, we have 2 whole weeks left. It's never too late to sign up. And the way writing is for me, it's like every day is a new day. Doesn't matter what happened in the past. If I sit down to write, I can have a whole new insight today. And you just never know. It could be life-changing what you write down today. You could create something you cherish forever. Or it could be throwaway stuff that just makes you feel good today and improves your quality of life. So it's never too late to play in here. And so Anna says, for some reason, I'm not really writing and answering the prompts, but just making lists. I wonder why. Well, hey, that's how you choose to answer it. And, list making is writing. There's a very popular challenge on Instagram that is all about lists. It's created by the Reset Girl. You might be interested in that, Anna. But, I find that sometimes I make lists when there's just a lot going on in my mind. Like I just have a lot going on in my head and I need to just let it all out. And yeah, so I don't judge that as being not writing. That's writing. That's totally okay. And also with the Sacred Writing Challenge, to play, you don't need to answer the question. If you don't feel like you have an answer or something else is coming through, like write about whatever you want to write about. But sometimes it's easier for a lot of people to get started with a question. So they're there for you, and it does lead a lot of the discussion in the group, but you can still comment if you didn't answer it and you had other things you worked on. Feel free to come talk to us. It's totally fine. And a lot of people are working on other things. That is to say that there have been people who have said they started with the question and they ended up writing their target material for blogs or articles or things like that. I've written the questions this week and I ended up writing a song. So, and part of an article that I haven't written in, that I've been wanting to write for 6 months. So it can really inspire you if you have a target to do the prompts also. So whatever feels good for you that day, you just go with it. And I'm not going to judge you on what you wrote. It's not about that. It's just about, did you write today? And high five if you did. And if you didn't, then tomorrow is a whole new day. Today is a whole new day. And just try to make yourself just that much more aware of how you use your time to see if you can try to fit it in to some degree today. Okay, so like when I notice I've skipped a few things that are my daily habits in a row, then I just put that much extra attention there to try to make it happen. So, and I'll be doing that with myself. I'm totally the same. Yeah. So she said, okay, thanks. She was judging it. Yeah. So that's great. You know, just be aware of that. And I'll be sending out some extra hugs and love your way that you'll find a way to see that for the beneficial value that it is to make lists, if that's how you want to answer it. It's totally good with me. So we're wrapping up the hour, and I'm like, oh, I don't want to go. So I don't want to go, but I want to honor all your time and thank you for being here live, or if you're watching the replay, thank you. And for all the people who aren't here and might not do either, who are playing with us in the challenge, I'm just so grateful. And everybody is just a rock star, and it's not easy to write every day. It's easy once you get in the habit. It's kind of like just something you do, but that's challenging, and there's a lot coming up. You know, there's a lot that is visible to us when we start writing that some people are not courageous to face. So it's very courageous to write, or even to desire to write if you haven't yet. So it's very courageous. So I'm definitely really admiring and honored to be in the space of sharing with such courageous people. And any sprinkle of inspiration and love that I can send to you, or healing, or tools to help make it easier, I am there, and I'm available to you if you have any more challenges or concerns, or if you just want to talk about your writing and your goals for it. I love sharing recommendations of books and YouTube videos and tools, and I do have my membership program and some other one-to-one work that I have available to help you too, if that's a fit. So you can always reach out and ask, hey, can we just chat? I want to take you up on having a 30-minute conversation about my writing and creating. And that's there for you. So you can just ask me. And cool. So you guys have a great day, and I'll see you soon, perhaps in the Sacred Writing Facebook group, or over email and things like that. So take care and stay warm if you're on the East Coast. All right, I appreciate any kind of like blessings for my electricity, just to make sure it stays on. All is good so far, but let's just keep it warm and toasty and full of electronic devices I can play on. So, alrighty, I love everybody, and I'm gonna go now. So you guys have a great day. Happy full moon. Mwah! Bye-bye.